What's up, guys? This is VinylicPuma, and I may end up being a day late and $1 short on this recent news info, but I figured it might be nice to briefly get away from the Borderlands countdown videos to go over a recent development pertaining to Borderlands 3. Plus, I figured some of you guys might like to hear my opinions on these recently leaked retail listings for Borderlands 3, as well as some other E3 2018 games that were posted on Walmart Canada's website. So without further ado, let's jump in and discuss. In case you weren't aware, a Twitter user by the name of Wario64 recently discovered a number of interesting pre-order listings for various announced and unannounced video games on Walmart Canada's website. So he went ahead and took a quick screenshot and posted it to his Twitter profile in the following Twitter post, which reads, quotes, Walmart CA listings, Just Cause 4, Splinter Cell, Dragon Quest II, LEGO DC Villains, Borderlands 3, Rage 2, Gears of War 5, Forza Horizon 5, and Assassin's Creed. He also includes a bit.ly link in his Twitter post, and upon further inspection, a great number of these games still appear on Walmart Canada's website for pre-order at the time of making this video. So if you'd like to verify all of this for yourself, I'll go ahead and I'll leave a link in this video's description. Ultimately, this info is significant as a number of these games haven't really been revealed to us yet, especially when it comes to games like Gears of War 5 or Just Cause 4. Plus, it may be further validation that Borderlands 3 is in fact coming soon, in addition to what we've already heard from the likes of Take-Two, 2K Games, and Gearbox themselves. So as far as Borderlands is concerned, this small, somewhat insignificant information is at least further confirmation that something big is definitely coming. However, I'd like to give you guys some of my thoughts on all of these leaks. To be honest, I'm kind of torn on all of this information. On the one hand, a lot of the information presented appears to be somewhat legit. After all, we pretty much know that Borderlands 3 is coming soon, based on both Take-Two investor calls and various posts that Gearbox and 2K Games employees have made on Twitter. So, seeing the opportunity to pre-order Borderlands 3 on Walmart Canada seems like it could be a good sign that Borderlands 3 is indeed coming out within the next year. At the same time, I feel like a lot of this is information that we already knew about or is somewhat suspect. For example, games like Tom Clancy's The Division 2, The Last of Us 2, the Final Fantasy VII Remake, and of course Borderlands 3 were already things that we know are coming out at some point. After all, The Division 2 was announced in March 2018 this year, The Last of Us 2 was announced in December 2016, the Final Fantasy VII Remake was announced at E3 2015, and while Borderlands 3 hasn't been officially announced as of yet, like I said earlier, we've had a number of strong indicators that it's definitely coming out within the next year. Also, all of these Walmart listings are just placeholders and don't really account for the current state of these games' development. While we have some reason to believe that certain games like The Last of Us 2 and Borderlands 3 are likely really far into their development cycles, The Division 2's development was recently announced, and the Final Fantasy VII Remake is currently rumored to be in development hell based on some of the information that Square Enix gave us at the end of April. After all, if you're scrapping a bunch of work from the studio you hired to work on the remake of your game that you announced virtually 3 years ago, things probably aren't going all that well. As far as suspect things go, while I'm not quite as suspicious of the announcements for games like Gears of War 5, Forza Horizon 5, and maybe even Splinter Cell, as these games could show up during Microsoft's E3 presentation, I'm very suspicious of the listings for Rage 2 and Destiny Comet. While the original sales listings for the original Rage were actually fairly decent, it seems weird that Bethesda would go to E3 this year to announce a sequel for Rage, given the popularity of Doom 2016. After all, it's been almost 7 years since the original Rage came out, and that seems like a ridiculously long time to go without a new release. To give you some idea, the wait from Borderlands the pre-sequel to Borderlands 3 will only be about 4 to 5 years or so, which will be about the same wait that players had to endure between Fallout New Vegas and Fallout 4. Then again, what appears to be the official Rage Twitter profile did reference this particular Walmart Canada listing, as you can see here in both a post that Twitter made and the fact that that particular Twitter profile also made that post their profile picture. So perhaps there could be something to this Walmart Canada listing after all, or maybe it's a total dud. Even if the Rage 2 listing ends up being legit, I still find the Destiny Comet listing somewhat suspect. While it's possible that it could be an entirely different game from an entirely different developer, the most common references to Destiny Comet on the internet pertain to the Destiny franchise from Bungie, and a lot of the leaks around Destiny Comet appeared to be from around January 2015, just after the release of the original Destiny and before the release of the Taken King DLC. Perhaps it's possible that Bungie and Activision are going to release Comet or some type of brand new expansion for Destiny 2 sometime in fall 2018. However, we're just going to have to wait and see. But back to Borderlands. At the end of the day, while this particular listing could just be further confirmation that a Borderlands 3 is coming out within the next year, I feel like that's something we already knew at this point. Don't get me wrong, it's nice to hear about the possibility of Gears of War 5, Splinter Cell, and some other games, but I wish this was more substantial and told us a lot more about Borderlands 3. After all, like the funny tweet from what is presumably the official Rage Twitter account, they point out the fact that these particular listings lack a logo and an ESRB rating. And while we presumably have the ESRB rating for Borderlands 3 thanks to the Borderlands Twitter's tweets about the Varkid Vaporizer, we still don't have an official logo for Borderlands 3, nor have we seen any gameplay in the game. We don't know any of the characters' names or anything else. With all of this in mind, I think it's time we reignite an old, stupid hashtag that I came up with earlier on in the year, and that simply is hashtag we need a logo. So if someone from Gearbox somehow manages to come across this video, we know Borderlands 3 is coming, so why not just drop that logo and reveal trailer for us to get us all massively hyped for the next game? The sheer amount of teasing for this game has been pretty ridiculous so far. We basically know that the game is coming out really soon, so again, why not just give us something to chomp on before we inevitably see this game at E3? And we need a real logo this time. Not that there was anything wrong with that fake logo from a couple months back. In fact, it was actually kind of cool looking. But we actually need a real logo from you guys at Gearbox. So again, guys, hashtag we need a logo, hashtag reveal it already. And with that, guys, I think that's going to wrap up this particular video. If you liked this video, feel free to leave a like, click the bell so you can be notified when my next video goes up. And as always, thank you all so much for supporting the channel. Take care, and just to drive the point home, feel free to stick around until the 10-minute mark for those sweet, sweet hashtags. Whoa. I'm kind of surprised you made it this far into the video and that you made it to the 10-minute mark. Seriously, thank you guys so much and have a great day.